What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got a good video for you guys today. This one was sent to me on Twitter, and honestly, I haven't even watched it yet, but we're gonna play it and we're gonna react to it. I'm gonna see if I agree or disagree with what is said in this video. It's a video on YouTube saying, how do the Celtics take the next steps towards winning a championship? It's coming from the early edition on NBC Sports Boston. So we're gonna watch the clip, we're gonna react to it. I might pause it, rewind it, kind of dive deep into stuff that they say, or we'll just play it all the way through and I'll give you my take. I don't know what to expect yet. And then, as always, I'll give you my take at the end of the video on what I think the next steps are. Regards to this video, what I think the next steps are in winning a championship for Boston. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and like this video. Let's dive right into it. So like I said, I don't know what to expect yet. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
The 2022 NBA title are out, courtesy of PointsBet Sportsbook. The Nets are clearly the early favorites here, followed by.
See, I saw a lot on social media of people kind of not ragging on this, but like, oh my God, look at where the Celtics are. These are their worst odds since whenever. When you think about it, the Celtics have lost one of their, quote unquote, best players in Kemba Walker. They have a brand new coach. Their GM's gone, brand new GM. It doesn't surprise me that the Celtics don't have, great odds to win the championship. So I'm not bothered by that. I also don't know if this is the championship year for the Celtics, so I'm not really bothered by it, especially looking at the names that are ahead of this. Maybe the only ones that I could disagree with would be maybe the Mavericks and, I don't know, Kawhi, depending on where he's going to go, the Clippers, that type of thing. Like, I'm not too bummed that the Celtics have such bad odds. Like, it kind of a mathematical equation to me, and it makes sense so far.
And Bucks, the Celtics way down on that list as they currently have the 13th best odds to win the championship next season. Chris Forsberg joining us right now. And Chris, after watching the Bucks last night win that title, what do the Celtics need to do in order to take that next step, Forsberg?
Yeah, I'm left, and as good as Giannis was, as Manic correctly pointed out, they have more talent. The move for Jrue Holiday in the offseason after the 2020 campaign sort of helped them go over the top. And so now
he didn't say this. No, he said the Bucks just got more talent than last year. No way, he just said the Celtics have more talent than the Bucks.
The Celtics and I say, okay, how do they add their own
Jrue
Holiday?
Yep.
Now, they might have it in-house. Maybe that's Marcus Smart. But for me, it comes down to adding another player. And so you have two paths to that. You can either manage.
No chance the insight here is, add another player. Like, no kidding. We're not about to watch a 5-minute video, and the point is that, hey, let's add another player. Like, no kidding. I'm looking for the nitty-gritty. What do they got to do here? Tell me, Chris.
Manage your cap space, and as early as the summer of 2022, you might have the ability to seek a max contract free agent or someone in the upper range, near max level, and certainly in the summer of 2023. Or you splurge now. You re-sign Evan Fournier, and you extend Marcus Smart and Rob Williams, and you have tradable assets. And then when the next disgruntled star becomes available, whether that's Bradley Beal or whoever, you're in position to go get them. But ultimately, the end game is, how do you add more talent to this roster? Because it just feels like there's not enough here right now. I'm intrigued.
100% not enough here right now. I think we can all agree with that. The one thing I will say, and I don't even know if this is the main part of Chris Forsberg's point here, and I think it might be the better point, is that you have two options. You will have cap space in a couple of years. You have enough time to plan out to have cap space open. Do you wait that allotment of years? Do you wait 2 years? Do you wait 3 years? Or do you splurge now? I thought that was a really good line, because it's kind of the question at hand. Like, Boston always, the fans are always expecting wins. They're expecting rings. But can you say, okay, you know what, let's weather the storm for another year, and then a year after that, we can actually go out there and make a huge move, rather than just kind of trying to splurge right now with splurge. It's like someone that doesn't have a lot of money trying to splurge. You know what I mean? Like, or do you wait until you are rich and can splurge?
To see what the mix is coming into this year and how they play in a more normal season. But I think ultimately it's on Brad Stevens to find that other piece to push this team over the top.
Yeah, and I agree, because I think signing Marcus Smart, and if you can, Rob Williams to extensions on more manageable terms, will help you in the long term as you try to look to make deals down the line. I mean, Jay Crowder,
I know I'm pausing this, and I'm probably blowing this right now because you guys just want to hear the take, but he's right here. Chris Mannix is saying, if you lose Marcus Smart, if you lose Robert Williams, you don't have them under manageable contracts. It's totally true, because as much as people say, oh, Marcus Smart's going to be a waste of money, or Robert Williams, you might have to pay him more. When you think about it, if you go and lose Marcus Smart due to money reasons, now you have to fill Marcus Smart's role and you have to fill a superstar's role, you know? So trading Marcus Smart might be a smarter move, but if you were to just let Marcus Smart, you know, if you don't extend him and then let him walk after the season, now you have to fill that role and a superstar's role. You know, it's obviously like now it's more on your plate that you have to try and eat.
Through here was one of the most valuable commodities in the NBA for a while because he had a very manageable contract. So if you can get these guys on good deals, I think a priority would be re-signing them. And I think the other part of it is, and it just sounds so simplistic, but if you're in charge of drafting, don't suck at it. Home runs on.
Who is that a shot at? Who is that a shot at? Go figure. One more time. Come on, Chris.
Them. I think the other part of it is, and it just sounds so simplistic, but if you're in charge of drafting, don't suck at it.
Maybe it's because it's early in the morning. That's hilarious to me. I don't know. Maybe I got like loopy brain because it's early in the morning.
Like hit home runs on draft picks. I mean, this is like Giannis was the 15th pick in the draft. Like, where would Boston be if they're like, I like that Giannis guy instead of Kelly Olynyk? Where would San Antonio be?
Yeah, but no one knew that. No one knew that about Giannis.
Like every championship team that we can talk about has had strong success outside of the top 5 in the NBA draft. Draymond Green was the defensive soul of the Golden State Warrior championship teams. He was drafted in the 2nd round. So
it is true. Like, you got to be able to build from within. I know the NBA, the stigma is that, hey, you know, you go and get your stars, you trade, you build super teams. Look at these recent championship teams, like the Warriors, I'll use as an example. Anything with LeBron aside, obviously. But the Warriors, they built from within. The Suns actually built from within. They have the Bucks now that definitely built from within.
I mean, we can talk trades and free agent acquisitions all day long. It's fun to banter about, but what it comes down to is the successful teams are the ones that hit on draft picks.
Yeah, Chris Mannix, you definitely have a point right there. However,
it's a Chris sandwich right now. I just realized.
Everyone would do it.
No. It shouldn't be easy. It should be easy. But this is your job. Like, this is your job. Like,
yeah, it's true.
I can't file a story. Chris Forsberg can't file a story that is hot garbage because then we get fired. It's our job to write, you know, at least digestible material. For a top basketball executive, you have to hit on draft picks. Hire staff, do whatever you want, but you've got to hit on draft picks. Look back at these drafts over the last, 20 years. I've done it. It's a
He's kind of going off, huh? Mannix is kind of going off right now.
Maddening proposition, but after the top 15, there's always 4 or 5 guys that are all-star.
Has this frustration just been pent up?
This year was a 2nd round pick. These guys are there. You have to identify them when you see them.
That's so much easier said than done, though. Like, I'm not talking about, I don't need Brad Stevens or didn't need Danny Ainge to hit on a 2nd round pick and go for an MVP. You know what I mean? I think the draft picks situation is, you know, the point of topic here, or point of conversation, because the draft picks that Danny went for, Grant, Carson Edwards, Draymond Waters, even Langford and Nesmith could probably fill into this role right now. They just stink right off the bat. Like, what are you doing? It's a project, not a guy that can actually make an actual, you know, impact. I think that's probably the point I agree with Mannix here. I don't know how much I agree with him saying it's so easy to get a guy in the 2nd round. No chance you can get an MVP in the 2nd round every draft.
At the Celtics adding that 3rd star, you talk about either draft capital or throwing money and splurging. Which path do they take?
Yeah, so look, you can
Here we go.
manage the cap and try
Here we
to
go.
get
This
that
is the
trade.
actual
It's still
question.
really difficult. You'd still have
Which
to move
path did
on
they
from
take?
Marcus Smart and Evan Fournier before that splurge could happen. So to me, it's more likely to be a trade. The other part of it is I look at the 2022.
I said that a couple minutes ago.
And nothing really excites me, except if Bradley Beal opts out. And again, that might just come down to whether Jason Tatum really wants to play with him. And if that keeps Jason Tatum in green, I think the more likely path is you get into this year, you say, all right, what does this team lack? Do they need a playmaking point guard? Do they need...
Also, let's not forget that this is going to be a brand new team, new coach, new dynamic, new GM. So everything's going to be different. This could be, and I hate to say it, Celtics fans, this could be sort of a working year where you try and compete, but also try and take notes as to, okay, where do we stand?
An impact forward. Is Rob Williams not staying healthy enough? And then you target that player that best complements your pillars of Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, and you go make that move. And now again, did the Celtics have enough assets to make that happen? You got to hope that teams clamor for your younger players. That's why draft and development is so important. And
hopefully Neesmith, Langford, Grant Williams, all these guys are better, you know, a year from now.
The ability to move other picks moving forward, but Brad Stevens has a daunting task in front of him.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Go ahead, Mannix.
Mannix is going off.
One thing, like, I'm with you with transactions, Chris, like all that, but like if you're Boston, you are just circling the Portland Trailblazers like a vulture. Like you are just watching them and seeing what they do, because maybe Damian Lillard comes back next year to that team, but that's not a good team. And if that team starts out like 11-20 or something as we get into January, they're going to be looking to make a move. And if they're looking to make a move and blow that whole thing up, I want to be first in line for either Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum.
Damian Lillard, no. I think you'd have to give up Jalen, even if Portland's trying to blow it up. CJ McCollum, I think you can get without giving up Jalen Brown. I think he'd be great on this team if it takes Marcus Smart and picks and whatnot. Sign me the hell up. Damian Lillard, I think it's going to take Jalen Brown, and I don't want to trade Jalen Brown. I don't care how good Damian Lillard is. I don't care if he's an MVP candidate. I don't care if he puts teams on his back. I don't want to trade Jalen Brown for Damian Lillard right now.
With assets in hand, when they decide to make that deal.
Who are you trading Jalen Brown in that mix?
There we go.
Well, I mean, if you're talking Damian Lillard, yes. If you're talking CJ McCollum, that's a deeper conversation. So, but either way, like, there's only a finite number.
Yes,
of teams.
Chris Forsberg. Yes, tell it to him.
Stop. He just turned 31. He's a top 6 player. You can't have enough of those guys. Give me a break.
How is he acting like he just turned 30? Celtics have brought in a guy like Kemba Walker who ended up showing kind of his age. Like Damian Lillard would get here when he's 32 or 33, and you just traded Jalen Brown, who would be like 25 at the time for him. Come on.
Your window is right now. When you have a team like that looking to make a deal, you want to be out there with your assets. And there's only so many teams.
You don't move Jalen.
The Blazers can trade Damian Lillard too. They're not trading him to Orlando. It's going to be a discussion with Damian Lillard where he wants to go to, and that would be a championship level.
I've agreed with most of what he said so far in this clip. Don't love this.
Maybe Golden State. There's only a handful of teams.
The way he's saying it is like, no kidding, you trade Jalen Brown for him. I don't like that. All right, guys, so we watch it, we react to it. I kind of gave my piece. I feel like I cut up that video too much. It was probably even hard to watch, but I had to pause and talk about it at times. In my opinion, you build around Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. No kidding. That is not really anything that's like groundbreaking to anyone. What they kind of missed and kind of didn't really even allude to here is you do anything to build around those guys. You don't trade Jalen Brown. That's step number 1 in how to not build around them. Maybe, yes, I would say a next step is extending Robert Williams, because guess what? Even if you love Robert Williams, I love him, but I also, you guys know that I'm pretty harsh on him when it comes to the injuries and always being out. You extend him, it gives you a trade asset in the future at the very least. I would love him to work out. Hell, I'd want him to be a big 3 member if he were to pan out, but if he could even be a tradable asset for you, that's great. So you extend him. Marcus Smart, you can't let walk. Marcus Smart, you either have to re-sign to a manageable salary or you have to move, because Marcus Smart, like I said, if you let him walk, not only, yes, obviously you have a little bit more space and cap room to work with, but if you let him walk, now you have to fill in that sort of toughness, the defense, the attitude player in your roster. You have to fill that void while trying to go seek another star. Hit on some draft picks, get some value, whether you have to use those draft picks to trade and get some value in, but don't make these draft picks a nobody pick. Don't make these draft picks someone that's not going to help whatsoever. So those are probably my 3 big things, and then honestly, the overarching umbrella here is I'm in the waiting game. Let me wait 2 or 3 years to make a big move. But in the meantime, draft. Lock down your valuable players. Don't let them walk and obviously create more room that you have to now fill. And don't forget your core. Don't think you should trade Jalen Brown for Damian Lillard. Don't forget Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are this team's future. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you like these reactionary videos. Let me know in the comments down below if you do. And as always, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and we'll catch you tomorrow.